The fuck? All right, I think we're good to go. 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 Uh, we gotta make sure we're doing good. All right, I think everything is good to go. I think it's copacetic. Let's see. Yo, what is up? It's your boy Kakaroto, aka Coco. Welcome back to another Spooky Macanonies. If you're new to the channel, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. And if you already subscribed to the channel, drop a like for your boy Coco. Why was Coco crying? Why was Cocoritos crying? Nobody will ever know. Baby, baby, some cocoa bananas, some cocoa bananas, some cocoa bananas. So yeah, welcome to the stream. If you're new to the channel, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all under Kakarot Gaming XP. And if you're watching on Twitch, follow your boy. All right, let's go ahead and hit that intro. Let's hit that intro. Let's hit that intro. Let's hit that intro. Oh God, what up, cool boy Coco? Hug me. I'm scared. Please, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't you worry, child. Don't you worry, child. Coco, you a cocoa banana. What you know about a cocoa banana? I'ma head out, Coco, but he's sorry, mate. It's all good, cool boy. It's okay, cool boy. Go ahead, man. Go do what you gotta do, man. Have a good night. Be safe. It's restricted access. What's restricted access? What do you mean? What's restricted access? What do you mean? What do you mean it's restrictive access? Wait, what's restricted? What's restricted? Wait, what's restricted? What are you talking about? Wait, what's restrictive? The stream? The stream is restricted? Are you? The hell? Chad, what are they talking about? What's restrictive? The stream? What Karen bit are you talking about? Alright, I'm gonna bounce my homies to your mom. What the fuck, cool boy? What's good? What's good? Wait, what's going on? What Karen bit are you talking about? I'm a little bit confused and flabbergasted, but we're gonna get things started, okay? What? I'm so lost. What up, Sniper Monkey? How you doing, my boy? Welcome to the stream. I'm so lost right now. What? Before we begin, what carrying video? By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement of Nintendo. For those of you guys who have Nintendo, look, I don't get it. I don't. I'm hella blasted right now. Nintendo's raising its prices from $19 a year to $50 a year. All right, later, cool boy. Bro, the carrying videos I've been showing you. Oh, it's restricted. I got you. That's what you were talking about. Hey, yes. What up, the guy in your mom's bed first? Easy. Coco Alpha Bean. But I didn't know what you're talking about. There's so many Karen videos out there. You don't understand. There's so many Karen videos out there. There's so many Karen videos. How you doing, Patrick? Welcome to the stream on Twitch. There's so many Karen videos out there. It's not even funny. All right, let's go ahead and get things started. And where are my headphones? Go do feet reveal. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't want to see my corns, bro. Trust me. $50 for online. Yep, $50 for online because they're trying to include the Animal Crossing DLC with it, and they're trying to add the Sega and the N64 games, and they're saying they're gonna add more games down the road. But I'm like, why would I want to pay? I mean, I get it. It's kind of nice we're having the Sega games and the Nintendo games, but like you're charging us $50, which is almost like a full blown game, and it's like, come on, it's just stuff that you're transferring into here. You're not remaking them. It's literally you're just transposing them so they can be played backwards compatible. I don't know. I don't know.
Top 5 ghosts caught on camera. The Church of the Dead. Paranormal investigators Jeff and Phil from the YouTube channel Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations are the first ghost hunting team to ever be allowed to explore and investigate the infamous Mount Fitchett Church near Stansted, Mount Fitchett, England. The church itself has stood for over 900 years.
I don't think it's not even about the online experience because they're doing the same thing the PlayStation did, which is you have to pretty much give me a second. You have to pay essentially $50 just in order for you to play with your friends online, and that's the part that kind of sucks, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let me fix that. It'd be better if I could find a PS5. There's gonna be a lottery for I think Best Buy or Sony users. You're gonna have to sign up. Check online. They should have it up right now. It's this whole lottery system thing they have going on right now. That if you sign up for it now, you might be able to get a PlayStation 5 by the end of the year. $50 for old school games. Basically, if they do that, they need to add GameCube games and Game Boy games. Look, wearing a tank top. Oh yeah, it's fucking hot today, bro. Should think. It's hot as hell. It's hot as It's hot as camel balls today. So you gotta make sure you're in a tank top, walking around the block, dancing a little salsa. I'm like, hey, where my hat at? And it's all good. What does
And
KYS
is
mean?
surrounded by an ancient
I have
graveyard.
no idea.
The burial ground is the final resting place for some and by an ancient graveyard. The burial ground is the final resting place for some entire families, as well as wealthy lords of the past and soldiers who perished in battle long ago in many different wars. With hundreds of years of dark history, it's no surprise that the church is said to be extremely haunted. Visitors claim to hear sounds and voices, and a photo was captured of what appears to be two shadow figures sitting in one of the pews. The Mount Fitchett Church was closed and abandoned in 1967. The Ghost Tech team sets up a few static cameras and sits down to ask some questions of any spirit that might be present. When Phil asks for a sign, something seems to answer.
Could you make yourself known? Either by talking to us, shouting your name, or banging on something, or moving something. Could you do that now for me, please? That was definitely footsteps. Yeah. There's no one else around here, not even outside. There's no one it's just countryside. There's no one around here. That was footsteps inside, on the floor, and it was right down there at the back where the door is.
Have you guys been seeing
enhanced audio taken from our static cam facing the chancel?
I heard some footsteps. They're gonna probably up the audio on there. Quick question. Have you guys seen videos lately? A lot. There's been resurfacing more and more videos about aliens. I don't know if it's just me, but I've been seeing a lot of them online. Again, I'm not a conspiracy person, and I don't even know what the hell they are, but there's been a lot of UFO videos out there recently that have been resurfacing a lot more than before. And at this point, I just don't know what to make of them. It could be our own aircrafts. It could be something else. And a lot of stuff, this whole fascination with mermaids. I don't know what it is that supposedly there's this war going on with Earth people and the people of the ocean, and it's a whole bunch of like stuff that I've seen online. I'm like, it's interesting stuff to look into, but obviously there's no real proof or evidence that this has happened. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that's been seeing a lot of these videos just pop up on my For You page on Instagram, YouTube, and even on TikTok. So aliens are real. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not. I'm not saying they're not real. I'm just saying that it's what's creepy is not knowing whether they're good or bad, or what's their definition of good and definition of bad, if that makes sense.
That was definitely footsteps.
Yeah.
If you'd like to communicate with us, please do so. We don't mean you no harm or disrespect. Earlier on, we heard
What, Nanny? The fuck? It has?
We both hear a voice
the
come from the
fuck?
opposite end of the church, but even after enhancing the distant voice, we cannot make out what is being said.
Te pasas, Lani, te pasas. Te pasas de lanza, man.
Earlier on, we heard
The two friends hear the sound of footsteps and a soft voice coming from somewhere inside the church. Later, as day turns to night, the team sets up static night vision cameras to continue recording. What happens next is truly bizarre.
Can you hear us?
Hi, my name's Jeff.
I ask if any of the spirits can hear us, and we receive a response as there is loud banging as we enter the chancel.
How you
Here
doing,
is the
Toxic Gengar?
enhanced
How's
audio.
everything? Welcome to the stream.
Can
Ghost
you
is
hear
out
us?
in broad daylight. What do you mean, where? Toxic Gengar, I didn't get to do Animal Crossing today. I was actually catching up on a lot of the stuff from IGN that came out.
We
I was
end our first session,
also
and unknown to us at the time, our static cam 1 is
working
capturing a
on
shadow
some
figure
short videos I'm
moving
gonna upload
within
this
the
week.
chapel.
Tomorrow I plan on playing Minecraft and Animal Crossing New Horizons. I didn't get to do it this weekend. So long story short, stuff got in the way and I apologize. Because I like to play the game, but I would also like to play it for you guys. So if you're not part of our Discord yet, you
A
can
loud
join.
sound can be heard, and their static camera captures the shadow moving
Usually
in
I
and
keep
out of
people
sight
updated
in one
there
corner.
or on Instagram.
Now, it's worth mentioning that
But thank you for
investigators
reminding
Jeff
me.
and Phil are far away and walking in the opposite direction. So whatever this shadow is, it couldn't have been cast by either of them. Now, this story doesn't stop there, because the Ghost Tech guys aren't the only ones who seem to have captured strange paranormal evidence at the Mount Fitchett Church.
Oh, I gotta apologize because you know what? The channel would be nothing without you guys. So it's not only about, I play what you guys want me to play. I enjoy what you guys suggest. So I gotta apologize. And it's just part of the way things are done here in this channel. And it's the love that I have for you guys, and
Nobody gives a shit.
chat, deadass, you gonna interrupt me in the middle of my speech and put a fucking meme while I'm giving a sentiment, it's some bullshit.
A little over a year ago, 42-year-old Stephen Regoli was hit by a train and lost his life near the old Mount Fitchett Church. A hiker captured something on camera near the
I need
train
to send
tracks.
you some stuff. Okay.
Something downright
Sounds good.
chilling.
Sounds good, Tactic Gengar. I got played, by the way, by my technical advisor. His name is Chad.
A terrifying pale translucent figure can be seen drifting through the air on a path near the church.
Stop putting me
So,
in the live
could it be
stream.
that the Mount Fidget Church is truly haunted? Did Jeff and Phil capture evidence of spirits that still walk the church grounds? Let me know what you think. You can watch this entire video and a follow-up part 2 that will be coming soon over on the YouTube channel, Ghost Tech Paranormal Investigations.
What would you do if you guys see something like that? Something white around
The Tower of Terror. And what's supposed to be the happiest place on earth.
Let's just say you're walking down some forest or something like that, and you see this white, like web-like thing just floating through the air. At that point, like, what do you do? Do you like keep walking towards it, or pretend it's not there, or just turn around and like not come back?
An ominous mock Grand Hotel towers above the awestruck, happy crowd below. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Disney's California Adventure Park is a free-fall ride that's dedicated to the popular TV show, The Twilight Zone. Now, over the years, the Tower of Terror attraction became known for one particularly creepy real-life ghost story. It is said that a Disney cast member suddenly suffered a massive heart attack and passed away while welcoming guests onto the ride. Many visitors and employees claim to have seen his ghost and have reported random noises and flickering of the lights, even when the ride is not in operation. Sam Worth was visiting the park and recorded videos to capture the fun trip with his family. To his surprise, he also captured something he did not expect at the Tower of Terror. A strange translucent apparition can be seen on one of the levels at the Tower of Terror. Now, many of Sam's viewers believe the figure to simply be another hologram on the ride. But I looked through hours of footage of this ride on YouTube and I have not found any evidence of there being a hologram at this particular spot on the ride. In fact, this is the area on the ride where a picture is taken of the guests. So the creepy apparition remains a mystery. But Sam isn't the only one who captured bizarre footage on the Tower of Terror.
I agree with you, Patrick.
In this next video, a maintenance man is doing a routine safety and quality check on the Disney ride. He's completely alone. Or is he? The uncut footage is over 2 minutes long, but to save time, I just cut the video down to the spookiest parts.
What the fuck was that behind him? You saw that? Like if somebody's sitting there next to him?
Did you see it? A bizarre figure appears on a seat behind the maintenance man, but it's only visible for less than a second. 3/20ths of a second to be exact. The figure then moves 2 seats away right next to the oblivious worker, and it appears 2 more times. Again, I checked to make sure that there are no hologram effects in place in the seating area, and there are none. Also, the hologram effects that appear on the ride show multiple characters, and none of them are seated as these figures appear to be. So it seems very unlikely that this would be a reflection. So just what is this? Could it be that the spirit of the man who suddenly lost his life on the Disney ride is still around? Or is it just some very, very strange light reflection? You decide.
It looks weird. It looks like a figure sitting down and then getting back
for
up.
The top 5, or if you have a ghost hunting channel and you caught something
it could
great,
be some
contact
really
me
elaborate CGI or some
Attachment.
edited video.
Paranormal investigator Jordan from the YouTube channel Paranormies says that he believes some dark, angry spirit has attached itself to him after one of their investigations. So, back during an investigation at a haunted church in Canada, Jordan and fellow investigator Johnny accidentally let go of a Ouija board planchette without saying goodbye, which legend around the board says that you're never supposed to do. Jordan says that with every paranormal investigation since, something seems to be surrounding him and even physically attacking him. Even more disturbing, the entity seems to have followed him home. The investigator has experienced trouble sleeping, continuously waking up throughout the night, and he says he feels drained of energy each day. One night Jordan wakes up in what he believes to be a state of sleep paralysis, and he sees a woman with long dark hair watching him from his bedroom door. The woman disappears, but since then Jordan says he has seen the woman many times from the corner of his eye. Disturbed by what's happening to him, he decides to spend a few nights.
So a few of you guys, in regards to what Toxic Gengar said, a few of you guys on the stream were gonna donate for me to go visit a scary place, and I said let's just not even do that. Let's donate for a better cause. Not that I'm saying what to do with your money, but I'd rather it be done for something else, if that makes sense. But regardless, we were planning into visiting Chad, myself, his wife, and a friend of mine that was gonna come with me. She loves scary stuff, so we were all planning on to visiting a haunted place, and I was gonna record. This place actually lets you record your experiences and whatnot. But the issue is that you have to be fully vaccinated, and if you're not fully vaccinated, you can't go in. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just stay at home.
In his parents' RV, away from his home and family. He wants to confirm once and for all if a strange presence is truly attached only to him. It did not go well. The first night, nothing much happens. But the second night, Jordan begins to hear something very
Joe
frightening.
Biden? I thought it was Joe Mama. What about Gettysburg? Joe Baba? I used to have an ex-girlfriend who went to a college in Gettysburg, and they told me that even if you pick up a rock, one, it's illegal, I think, to pick up any rocks from Gettysburg and take it with you. Two, it can be haunted, and
I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but
apparently
I've been hearing that
that
all
war that
night.
happened there, a lot of
Can't
people
really
have
get to
died.
sleep.
A strange,
And there's a
unexplained
lot of
static sound seems to
apparitions of
resonate
people
throughout the
in,
entire RV,
Civil War outfits,
and Jordan is
and
unable to pinpoint exactly where the noise is
creepy
coming
shit
from.
happening all
It
the time.
almost sounds like
Angry
a voice
spirits.
is trying to break through the static. And the next night, it just gets worse.
Yo, the door. This is why I lock all my doors before I go to sleep. I close all my doors before I go to sleep. I close all my doors. So even if something rattles, I'll be like, who's there? Who goes there? And if they don't answer, I'll be like, I ain't opening that door.
Who is that?
Good, you always ask, who is it?
Hello? Who are you?
Oh, shit! There was nothing there. Okay.
Why are
I
you
thought
following
there
me?
was something there, but there was nothing there. So we're good. We're good. We're good.
Anybody in there?
Did I feel you guys jump a little bit? No? War crimes, why?
After his terrifying experiences in the RV, Jordan returns home. But back at his house, his little dog Zeus seems to be very disturbed by something Jordan can't see. Jordan picks up his camera and begins to film.
What's wrong? Something there? Zeus, what's going on?
Little Zeus sees something and jumps back in fear. What happens next is downright chilling.
This is why you should never play the Ouija board for clout, or if they pay you money, or just don't ever do it. Doesn't matter how much they pay you, just don't ever mess with the Ouija board. It's not a toy. It literally is a portal to open up doorways to places that you can't see or understand. And sometimes things come out that you can put back in, and I've heard stories to the point where people just don't live. They don't want to live because these things keep haunting them.
Hello? Why are you following me?
Damn it, Elijah Bond? Who the fuck is Elijah Bond?
Who are you?
Who the fuck? I thought I was gonna say Elijah Woods.
This I'm so done with this.
In the reflection of the window, Jordan sees someone or something staring back at him from around the hallway corner. He quickly pans around, but no one there.
Type of shit, really?
When he walks into the hallway, he hears a growl, and the bathroom door swings open and a bath towel falls to
Elijah
the floor.
Bond bent to the Ouija
This is
board.
when Jordan has just had enough for a while and decides to leave and stay over at the home of
The thing is this, when you see, I didn't know it was him, but I saw a documentary, maybe it went over my head his name, but the way the Ouija board is designed, and it just looking at it could be dangerous, just the way it's designed, the geometry behind it. It's just designed obviously from a mathematical point of view, so obviously it's used to open things. Just because you can't see it, like you said, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So a lot of people don't think to know that that thing opens portals, and it's not gonna be some flashy shit. You're gonna be like, oh shit, a portal with the light. You're gonna open up stuff that you can't see, obviously, because your eyes can't see stuff. Certain things, believe it or not. And stuff like this happens. So tough luck to the guy.
a friend and fellow investigator, Johnny. So what do you think is happening to Jordan? Could
I thought you
something
meant
dark
Elijah
and
Woods.
sinister truly be stalking him? Let me know in the comments. You can check out this entire video with even more paranormal events over on the YouTube channel, Paranormies. And they say part 2 will be coming soon. The Man Who Wasn't There. Paranormal YouTube channel Fourth Wall received a video from a man that says he captured something very disturbing in a quiet Japanese neighborhood. It's late at night and no one is around when the man spots something strange going on with a swing set in a nearby park.
Correct.
He's a little freaked out and believes he might be experiencing
It used to be
something
sold at Toys R Us at
paranormal.
one point.
So he places his
That's
work
how
phone on
crazy
top
it
of a
is.
tall playset and
It used
sets
to
it
be
to
sold at
record.
Toys R Us, just like
He
that.
then takes his personal phone and films as he
$20.
approaches the swing set. A single swing is violently swaying back and forth. But that's not all the anonymous man has captured, because his work phone recorded something absolutely terrifying.
Is that a person standing by the tree?
The dark, creepy figure of a man can be seen standing motionless in front of a tree. Now, what makes this footage so disturbing is that, as you can see, the other phone didn't capture anyone standing there at all. Could it be that the park is haunted and a dark spirit apparition was caught on camera? What do you think? You can watch this entire creepy video and many more over on the YouTube channel Fourth Wall.
I'm gonna start making fake ghost videos
orphanage.
just to see if it gets views. What do you guys
Paranormal
think?
investigator Luis Manuel Mote and cameraman Odin set out to explore an abandoned orphanage in the middle of a forest. Many children lost their lives here under very strange circumstances, and then others who stayed here
Or is that too much cringe? Me making fake ghost videos for the views and shit.
claimed to experience terrifying paranormal activity. The large buildings of the orphanage were eventually all
man didn't have a
just
shadow.
abandoned.
Yeah.
Luis and Odin begin to explore the orphanage grounds,
Nah,
and they
bro, he
start to
tweaking.
hear some very strange things.
What the fuck?
¿Escuchaste? Uy.
How do you run away from a ghost with all that equipment?
A creepy moan can be heard coming from somewhere on the property. Luis and Odin are a bit freaked out by the bizarre sound but continue to explore. That's when things take a terrifying turn.
Ese centro, ¿para qué lo ocuparían?
¿Crees que hagan algún ritual?
Pues quién sabe qué. ¿Para qué lo ocuparán todo este rollo, güey? Pero... Ah, no inventes, Odín, Odín, Odín. Te juro que entró... Hay alguien allá adentro.
Mr. Bolin after this, by the way.
The investigators spot someone or something walking past a window right in front of them. They run inside, but there's no one there. After a long night of exploring, Luis and Odin decide to call it a night and head home. After many requests from their viewers, the Terror Alex Streamo team decide to go back to the orphanage one more time. And this time, the unexplained terrifying activity only seems to intensify.
Fue enfrente de ti. Una cita de ti.
Uy, mami. ¿Cómo que? Bestia, cabrón.
Get out.
Luis and Odin feel like something might be watching them from the darkness. Even though they feel surrounded by an entity that they can't see, they continue exploring. As they walk through a field to get to another building, they both see something that makes their blood run cold.
Vi pasar a alguien ahí en...
Sí, por el vidrio.
It almost looks like someone dressed in white is walking through the building on the hill in front of them. They hurry to the structure to investigate, but find nothing. However, as they walk out of the building and look down the hill in front of them, they encounter another chilling surprise.
Mira, Odin. Dime, Luis. Aquí, mira. Sí, lo estoy viendo, hermano. No inventes.
What the hell was that?
¿Sí lo tienes? Sí, lo agarré abajo. No inventes.
What the hell was that? Yo, that looked like a little dragon serpentine looking ass.
Hasta se movió las ramas. Se vio cómo se subió aquí, Odín.
¿Pero se va arrastrando?
Sí, pero estas ramas se movieron.
A strange, elongated, trailing white shape seems to float across the field and disappear into the bushes. Again, the friends run over to investigate, but find no sign of what they captured on camera.
What if, I don't know where, the baby car
Odin
shows
record
up?
video evidence of some of the paranormal activity that drove everyone away from the orphanage?
Let's
Or
go!
is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. You can watch this entire two-part series with many more paranormal moments that I didn't feature here over on the YouTube channel, Terror al Extremo.
Terror.
Thanks so much for watching. Please follow me on Instagram here, and on Twitter right there, and also on FlipFlop.
Flip-flop. Oh, fuck. Mr. Bolin. Alright, time for some Mr. Bolin. The most terrifying family you've never heard of. Let's see what we got going on, Mr. Bolin. Mr. Bolin. John Bolin. The man is the reason why the death penalty exists. Let's see.
Today's story involves one of the most graphic and upsetting sequences I've ever covered on any story. It also involves harm to minors, so viewer discretion is advised. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload 2 or 3 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the Like Button's house in the middle of the night and unplug their iPhone in the middle of a software update. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Alright, let's get into today's story.
Yeah, how he said about going to the Like Button's house and then unplugging their iPhone? What?
In the 1960s and 1970s, hitchhiking became very popular amongst young people in America. Hitchhiking is a form of transportation where you basically get rides from strangers. And so the way it works is a hitchhiker will stand on the side of a busy road and they'll extend their arm out and they'll kind of hold their thumb up, which signals to passing motorists that they want to hitchhike. That's the kind of universal sign for hitchhiking. And then a willing motorist, when they see a hitchhiker, they'll pull up alongside and offer a ride. Now, today, it seems unfathomably dangerous to just hop into a stranger's car, or conversely, for a motorist to pick up a random stranger on the side of the road. But back then, this was considered totally normal and socially acceptable. And so with that in mind, on September 29th, 1978, a 15-year-old girl named Mary Vincent was standing on the side of a highway just outside of Modesto, California, which is not far from San Francisco, California. Mary was a rebellious teenager who had recently run away from her home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Her parents were going through a very nasty divorce and she just couldn't stand to be in the house anymore, and so that's why she had run away. And so she had hitchhiked all the way up to Los Angeles, California, where her grandfather lived. But after only being there for a couple of days, she became unbelievably homesick and wanted to go back and be around her parents and her family. And so one day when her grandfather was out, she slipped out of his house and she began hitchhiking back to Las Vegas, Nevada. And so she had hitchhiked from Los Angeles to Modesto, California. That's where the first person was willing to drive her to. And so she was on that strip of highway in Modesto looking for another ride that could take her farther south. She was on this highway with two other young hitchhikers. They all had these signs that said going south, so they weren't just holding their thumbs out, they were holding these signs. And so the three of them are huddled in a group, they're holding their signs up, and at some point, mid-afternoon, this light blue passenger van that only had one passenger, it was the driver, he was a 50-something-year-old man, he looked pretty harmless. He pulled over when he saw their signs, and he parked on the side of the road maybe 15 feet ahead of where they were. And so Mary's companions stayed where they were, and Mary ran up to this light blue van, and she looked through the passenger side window, which had been rolled down, and she asked this guy, hey, can you give all three of us a ride? We're going south. And this man, he would look at her and say, I can only give you a ride. I can't give the other two a ride. I can only give you a ride. And so Mary is confused because she's looking at this guy and she's seeing all this space in his van, and she's thinking to herself, why am I only allowed to go when they're going the same place I'm going and there's plenty of room in this van? But when she kind of gently prodded this man and said, well, are you sure you don't mind taking them too? He just said, look, I will take you, I will not take them. And so Mary said, okay, well, hold on, let me go back and get my bag. And so he stays parked, she leaves the van, and she runs back to the other two people she was with, and, she explains the situation, and they tell her, Mary, this is not good. There's clearly something off with this guy. But Mary, even though she too shared this kind of reservation about this guy, she was so desperate to get home. She was so homesick that she couldn't face the idea of having to wait around for another ride, which might not come until the next day or the day after, because not every motorist is willing to pick up hitchhikers, and she just did not want to wait any longer. And so she told her companions that, guys, I'm going to take the ride. And so she says goodbye to her two friends, she grabs her bag, and she runs back up to the van, and she hops in the passenger seat. As soon as she sat down and closed the door, this man pulled back out onto the road and started driving, and then he turned and looked at Mary and introduced himself. His name was Lawrence Singleton, and he was 50 years old. And then Mary, she introduced herself, and then they have some small talk, and very quickly, Mary feels at ease around Lawrence. He kind of reminded her of her grandfather. He was very nice, very polite, and so when she started to feel tired, pretty early on in their trip, she said, hey, Lawrence, do you mind if I doze off while you drive? And Lawrence would say, no problem, go ahead, go to sleep. And so Mary turned away from Lawrence and kind of curled up on the seat, and pretty quickly she was asleep. A little while later, when she woke up, she looked out the window and immediately could tell they were going the wrong way. So she turns to Lawrence and says, we're going the wrong way. And Lawrence would say, oh, you know what? I made a mistake. I'll get us turned around. Sorry about that. I had no idea. But Mary's thinking to herself, we're really far in the wrong direction. And there's no way he accidentally did this. But she kind of bit her tongue because Lawrence would actually turn around and start going in the right direction. And so they're traveling in the proper direction for a little while, and Mary's totally on edge, but she's careful not to give that off to Lawrence because she doesn't really know this guy, and even though he did make her feel comfortable, she just doesn't really know what his intentions are. And so she's just kind of looking around pretty apprehensively, and then they pull into this stretch of highway that kind of ran through this fairly forested area where very few cars were on this stretch of road, and Lawrence suddenly tells Mary that he wants to pull over because he has to go to the bathroom. He wants to relieve himself. And so Mary kind of apprehensively says, yeah, okay, that's fine. And so as Lawrence is beginning to pull off of the highway, Mary happens to look down at her feet, and she notices one of her shoes is untied. And instinctually, Mary just thought to herself, I better make sure that shoe gets tied because I might need to run away from this guy. But she didn't want to reach down and start tying her shoe. It was kind of awkward because the space was small, and she was worried it would be kind of suspicious if she did it. And so she thought, okay, as soon as we pull off, I'll get out of the car and I'll tie my shoe. And so Lawrence, he pulls over, but he doesn't just pull over onto the shoulder of this road. Instead, he pulls into this access road that kind of trails into the forest. And so as soon as he turned onto this road, the alarm bells are going off in Mary's head. She knows something is wrong, but she doesn't really know what to say to Lawrence because he's not talking to her, and she doesn't really want to look at him. And so she's just kind of going over in her head what she's going to do. Is she going to run? Is she going to confront him? She doesn't know. And then eventually, after about a minute or so, when they are far enough away from the main road that no one on that road could see them, they're pretty far into this forest, Lawrence stops the car and he hops out to go relieve himself. And immediately, Mary, she hops out of the car too, and she bends down to tie her shoe. Before she could finish tying her shoe, suddenly something smacked her hard in the back of the head, and it knocked her unconscious. It was Lawrence. He had hid a hammer next to his seat, and when he had gotten out, he did not go relieve himself. Instead, he walked around the vehicle and smashed her in the head. When Mary came to, she realized she was laying down in the back of the van, and as she was looking out the windows, she could see that they were still parked out in the middle of the forest. And then when she tried to move, she realized her hands, her feet, everything had been tied down to the van. She couldn't move. And so as she's wondering what's going on, Lawrence comes around, he opens the back doors to this van, he hops inside, and he begins assaulting her. Mary has no idea what to do. She's a 15-year-old kid, and this guy is on top of her. He's not stopping. And so she just began quietly begging him to please stop, set me free, I won't tell anyone. She just kept repeating that over and over and over again, and Lawrence never spoke back. He just continued the assault for hours and hours. Finally, when Lawrence got tired, he got off of Mary and he climbed out of the back of the truck and he went around and he climbed into one of the front seats and he fell asleep. And so Mary probably tried to free herself from her restraints, but there was nothing she could do. The restraints were tied too tightly, and so for hours she must have just laid there wondering what was going to happen to her. And then at some point in the middle of the night, Lawrence wakes up again, and without saying a word to Mary, he just climbs out of the van and gets into the driver's seat and then drives the van out of the forest. He drives on the main road for a little while until he turns down another access road that takes them away from the main road, so away from any prying eyes, and he comes to a stop somewhere out in this forest in the middle of this big canyon. Lawrence parks the van, he climbs out and walks around to the back. He opens up the back doors where Mary is laying there whimpering and crying and begging to be set free. He climbs inside and her torture continues for hours and hours until the sun finally came up. At which point Lawrence stopped. He climbed out of the back of the van and he's standing out there and he turns around, so he's facing Mary, and he reaches in and he undoes her restraints. So he frees her, he pulls her out of the van and stands her up on the ground, and so she's crying, she's beaten, she's bloodied, she doesn't know what's going on, and she just gently says to him, "Please set me free." And he says, "Oh, you want to be set free? I'll set you free." And so he walks around this totally destroyed 15-year-old girl and he reaches into the back of his van where there's this toolbox and he pulls out a hatchet. And so he walks back and he's standing in front of Mary, and Mary would have had a fraction of a second to see what was in his hand before, in one fluid motion, he reaches and grabs her left arm with his left hand. He grabs her on the wrist, then he raises his hatchet up and he brings it down on her left forearm, severing her arm off right below the elbow. And so Mary falls backwards to the ground and she looks down at where her left arm just was. She's in shock, and before she can do anything...
When you're in shock from something happening to your body, you don't feel the pain, you can't react to it. My God, this is just messed up.
Lawrence just walks over and with his left hand again, he reaches over and grabs her right wrist. And now Mary knows what he's about to do. He's still holding this hatchet. And so she's screaming and she's kicking him as hard as she can to try to get him off of her, but his grip is too strong. And then he begins to chop at her right forearm over and over again. It would take 4 hard blows to finally sever her right arm off of her body. And so Mary falls to the ground.
At that point, you're the trauma. You don't know what to do.
Profusely, she's screaming in agonizing pain. And all Lawrence can focus on is that one of Mary's amputated hands was clutched on to his left arm. When he cut off her left hand, it had gripped onto his arm and now it was stuck to him. And so very nonchalantly, he began trying to flick this hand off of his arm. And then finally, when it did come off, he turned and looked at Mary and realized she had gone silent and she was limp and she was laying in a huge pool of blood. And so Lawrence put the bloody hatchet back inside of his van, and then he just walked over to Mary and grabbed her and began dragging her. About 100 feet down the road from the van was a culvert. A culvert is a big tunnel that goes underneath roads. It allows water and runoff to pass by the road
Yo,
without
what up,
damaging
Monopoly?
it.
How you doing?
And
What
so
up,
this
King Choco Loco?
particular
How's everything?
culvert
Welcome to the stream.
underneath this access road was built about 30 feet below the surface of the road. And so if you were standing on the road over the area where this culvert was, if you walked to the edge of the road on either side, there would be a 30-foot drop-off down to the opening of this culvert on either side. And so Lawrence dragged Mary all the way over to this section of the road over the culvert and then chucked her lifeless body off the side, smashing it down onto the rocks below. And then Lawrence walked around very carefully all the way down to her body and stuffed her inside of the actual culvert. And then as he was walking away, he said to her, "Now you're free." After Lawrence left, Mary should have been dead. Really, she should have died at several points along this attack. But miraculously, Mary did not die. And in fact, she would later say she vividly remembered the entire attack. She was fully lucid, fully conscious, fully aware for the entire thing, save for the moment when she was knocked unconscious by the hammer. And so she vividly remembered having her arms amputated, and she specifically remembered one particular point in the beginning, before her left arm, the first arm, had been amputated. He grabbed her left wrist, and she in turn instinctively grabbed with her
What is
left
good, King
hand
Choco Loco? Just
onto
watching
his
Mr.
left
Ballin.
arm.
How are
So
you,
she's
King Choco
clutching
Loco? How's
onto
everything,
him.
Monopoly?
And so when he came down and cut her arm off, she began falling backwards, but she remembered thinking to herself, "Why am I falling backwards? I just grabbed onto his arm. I had a firm grip." And then as she's falling, it's like time is standing still. She literally saw her hand still clutching his arm and saw it had been cut off of her body. And then when Lawrence cut off her right arm, despite being in agonizing pain, it's like she instinctively understood that she has to pretend to be dead. Otherwise, she will die. And so she went totally limp, her eyes were half open, and she watched as Lawrence is flicking her left hand, the one that she thought she had gripped onto when she was falling back. She watched as he shook that hand off of his arm. And then she was limp as he grabbed her and dragged her the 100 feet to the culvert. And she was limp and still and didn't make a sound when he threw her 30 feet down onto jagged rocks, and she broke 4 of her ribs. She was in excruciating pain, but her will to survive was telling her, "Make no sound, take this punishment, and you will survive." And then after he left, she remembers thinking, I don't know where he is. He could be waiting up on the road for me. I can't just crawl out and try to save myself, because then he might actually finish me off. And so she laid in this culvert in this horrible position, totally contorted, with her arms gone and broken ribs. And then finally, after a while, she started to feel exceptionally tired, and that was from blood loss. And she said there was a voice in her head telling her, "You can't go to sleep. If you go to sleep, you're going to die. And if you die, we can't catch this monster, and he's going to do this to someone else." And so she had this surge of adrenaline where she decided, "I'm going to live. I'm going to get out of here. I don't know if he's still up there, but I have to get out and I have to try to save myself." And so somehow she got out of the culvert. And then once she was on the ground, she dug the nubs of her arms into the dirt.
Good, man. I have
and
tomorrow
attempted
off,
to
so I'm
pack the
hyped. Very
wound
nice,
with
very
dirt
nice.
and
Enjoy your
mud.
day off, my
And then
boy.
afterwards, she
Enjoy
raised her
it.
arms
Get some
up
rest.
over her head
Mary's a
because
trooper
she
for
didn't
this.
want the blood and
Agreed.
muscles to fall out. And so with her mutilated arms up over her head, she managed to crawl up this embankment up onto the road. She's got no clothes on. She's covered head to toe in blood. She's in shock, and she starts running down the highway. And a car would actually come by fairly quickly, but they were so startled at what they were seeing, they didn't stop and they drove on. And so Mary would ultimately run 3 miles on this.
Just think, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I was just thinking in my head, you imagine running down the thing, seeing somebody naked, covered in blood, going like this, just running with their arms going like this, no hands, no hands. No, I mean, no arms, bloodied, head to toe, like naked, and just like, I mean, I would have been freaked out. I would have not have known what to do. That's crazy, though.
Highway before finally flagging down a passing motorist. It happened to be a young couple, and after they got over the initial shock of what Mary actually looked like,
I would
they
have been
put her inside of
scared.
their car and they sped to the hospital. Mary would stay in the hospital for a month, and during that time she would give police all this information.
No, so shock means I'm gonna hurl. Shock means is that your body goes in this state of just total, like, it stops, if that makes sense. So like, it can't react to nothing else in your brain and everything else. Shock just stops everything. It's like an initial thing that just recircuits. So imagine your body being a computer, right? And somebody just goes ahead and sticks, I don't know, electrocutes the thing for a second, and you already have electricity going through you, so it just pauses it for a moment. So at that moment in time, let's say somebody stabs you, is the moment of the shock. You don't feel the pain. But then after a while, if you start moving or if you take out the knife, you're gonna end up dying, obviously, and feel the pain. So that's why when somebody gets stabbed, they always tell people leave the object that you were stabbed with inside. Don't take it out because then you're gonna end up bleeding. So, and because of the shock, you won't feel the pain. So it's best not to move.
Information about her attacker, about Lawrence Singleton, and using her very detailed description of him, the police were able to come up with a very good composite sketch. And Lawrence Singleton's neighbor happened to see that sketch, and they turned him in. Lawrence was ultimately sentenced to 14 years in prison for what he did to Mary. It was the maximum sentence that the judge could give. The judge wanted to do more, but legally they couldn't. And so Mary, she testified at court. And so after it all ended and he was sentenced, Mary was leaving the courthouse. And as she passed by Lawrence, it was the one time she had to be physically close to him, he turned and kind of leaned into her and said, "I will finish the job if it takes me the rest of my life." 8 years later, Lawrence was paroled for good behavior, and so of course this terrified Mary, who by now had become a wife and she had 2 sons, and so she's worried that now that this guy is free, he's going to come and finish the job. But Lawrence would not go after Mary. Instead, 10 years after he got out on parole, he would attack another woman, a 31-year-old mother of 3 named Roxanne Hayes, and unfortunately he would kill her. At Roxanne's murder trial, Mary would actually testify against Lawrence, and her testimony is what they used to secure a death sentence for Lawrence. But before he could be executed, Lawrence died of cancer in jail in 2001. When Mary heard that Lawrence had died, she felt very cheated. However, her sons were very relieved to find out that her attacker had died, and so she took some solace in that. Outrage over Lawrence's early release, considering what he did to Mary, and the fact that that early release led to another person being killed, led to the creation of the Lawrence Singleton Bill, which gives judges the ability to give 25-year to life sentences in cases that involve torture. Meaning, under this bill, Lawrence would never have gotten out of prison after what he did to Mary. So that's going to do it, guys. If you got something out of today's episode and you have not done this already, please sneak into the Like Button's house in the middle of the night and unplug their iPhone while it's going through a software update. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 2 or 3 video uploads. We are now selling merchandise like flannels and hats and sweatshirts and all sorts.
Mr. Ball and me tripping me he said to go to the Like Button's house, sneak in, unplug their iPhone while it's getting an update. The like button's gonna end up shooting me or something. But anyways, yeah, that's crazy, man. I can't picture somebody just kidnapping somebody and just torturing them. The guy looked creepy as hell. I mean, I can't think of somebody. I mean, it happens more often than you guys think. There's a lot of this stuff happens on a day-to-day basis. It's just not reported on. With technology, hopefully less things like this happen, but a lot of stuff happens behind closed doors, like stuff in the dark web and whatnot, and it's horrible. So all I can say is just that be grateful that we live in a country or in a place where more than likely that won't happen to you and you have family and people around you. But this was a trippy story. I'm glad at least that she's alive and she was able to move on in that sense with her family and create a family of her own. So let's go to, have we seen Sir Spooks? I don't think we've seen Sir Spooks yet. Let's see. That was a trippy story. I'm not gonna lie. It was a very, very trippy story. I was not expecting that ending. I thought she died after all that stuff. That fall that was 30 feet tall. I mean, she had no arms, and I don't know if she hurt her head, but top 5 scary videos you're not brave enough to watch. Let's see. It contains suicide or harmful topics. Damn, Sir Spooks, we can't watch that, fortunately. Gotta let it rock. Let me get my water. Tragic. It was definitely tragic for Shweezy.
Hello everyone, my name is Spooks, and today we'll take a look at 5 scary videos that will terrify everyone. So, let's begin. Today's video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. I woke up and felt incredibly hungry. My stomach was hurting. I rushed down to the kitchen to open the cabinets and check the fridge. They were all empty. I had no breakfast at all. All hope was lost. But then, right before my eyes, a filled breakfast bowl and a strange cereal box magically
Hey everyone,
appeared.
I'm gonna go play a
I
bit
started
of
eating from the
Basic
bowl,
Energy before
and
bed.
the taste and
No problem,
texture was
Toxic Gang.
truly
Be safe.
divine.
Take care. Thank you for
My
coming
morning
through.
was saved, all thanks to Magic
And
Spoon cereal.
have a good
If you
one,
want to
okay?
experience the same magic, you can
Be
try
safe.
Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors in
Be
a
safe and have a
4-flavor
fantastic
variety
night, Toxic
pack
Gang.
featuring
Oh my
cocoa,
god, King Joko Loco,
fruity,
thank you so
frosted,
much for the
and peanut
donation, the
butter.
$5
It
donation.
has 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of
Wait for it to
protein,
pop up.
and only 4 net grams of
I'm gonna wait for the donation to pop up, but thank you so much. King Joko Loco said just cuz. Thank you so much for the donation. Did it show up?
carbs in each serving.
What kind of
Also,
hippie
only
bullshit is this?
140 calories. Magic
I
Spoon
don't know.
also
Is it
offers
real
other
cereal?
great flavors including cookies and cream, maple waffle, cinnamon, and
There you
blueberry.
go. King
It
Joko Loco
tastes
donated
exactly
$5
like
through Super
regular
Chat.
cereal
Just
from your
cuz.
childhood, but is super nutritious.
Thank you
Tastes
so much,
amazing.
man. I appreciate
Honestly,
it.
too good to be true. On top of that, it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna skip this, man. I don't know what he's talking about. Something about Magic Spoon. It looks good. It looks good. It's just that I don't wanna think about food right now. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it. That's gonna go into the Cocorito Fund for scariness. It's going into the game that we've been speaking about that we're gonna play on the channel on October 28th. So mark your calendars. This game was pretty much the first scary game that I played as a kid. And it's called Fatal Frame. It's coming out with the PlayStation 4, and we're gonna play it with the camera. I'm not looking forward to it. Thank you for the $5, but I'm not looking forward to the scary game, man. That game traumatized me, and the fact that it's coming back 20 years later.
A man named Leon shared the following creepy video over on the Ghost subreddit that was filmed in the Norwich CT State Hospital Administration building. He explains that while he was there, he and his friends explored the other buildings, but none of them came close to being as terrifying as the administration building. In the video, Leon and his friends are walking around the area with flashlights in hand when they start to think they hear something from close by. If you listen closely,
I'm gonna do a hat giveaway.
Definitely
I'm giving away
something
my
there
hat,
keeping
worn
them
hats.
company. Have a listen.
Nah, that's unhygienic. I'm gonna give you guys a brand new hat from the Pokemon Center.
That's not my phone.
Coco, sell us your soul. Hey, yo, nah, I can't do that. My soul is not worth anything, but I could sell,
That's not my phone. You heard that, right?
Upon hearing these two things, the friends are absolutely baffled.
I was gonna say Coco bathwater, and Chad just looked at me. He was like, "Don't say it, don't say it."
Unsettling thing that happened to them.
No!
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Dude, I swear.
People gonna be like, "What is this? Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew apple flavor?" I'm like, "Nah, that's Coco's bathwater."
Dude, I swear to God it wasn't. Oh my God.
Coco's bathwater. Yeah.
After reviewing the footage, Leon
Was
has
that
said
a
that he's
pentagram?
wondering
There was a
what the truck
pentagram on the
was
wall
sleeping
with the devil's.
and is still confused as to what exactly happened
What's
that
next?
day.
Coco's feet pics? Hey,
One thing's
yo,
for
no, no,
sure,
no, no. You're taking
Leon
it to
will
another level,
definitely not
bro.
want to go back to
You're
explore
taking
this
it to a
place
whole
second
sus level.
time.
We're talking about collectibles here, you know? Stuff that's gonna double in money in a couple of years from now. Be like, yo, I got Coco's bathwater. Like, who the fuck is Coco? Young Darcy, how you doing? Welcome to the stream.
Randonautica is an app that was launched on February 22nd,
I don't like
2020,
Randonautica.
founded by Joshua
I think it's a
Langfelder,
digital Ouija
that
board.
generates random coordinates that enables the user to explore their
It's good to
local
hear you,
area
Darcy. Glad
and
your
report
Discord
on
is
their
fixed.
various findings. One YouTuber named Science and Signals downloaded the app
I'm
and
gonna join
tried
the
it
server
for
again.
himself, providing a bit of context, stating, "We recently uploaded a video where we tried out the Randonautica app for the first time, and it led us to an old graveyard. We were hesitant at first, but we pushed through the anxiety and went inside anyway. We probably shouldn't have, because whatever it was there scared the crap out of us." For a long while, the channel owners walk around the coordinated area and don't seem to find a whole lot. But that all changes around the 10-minute mark when this happens.
Did you recover anything? You probably got blocked. I'm gonna have to unban you. I have to unban you from there, Young Darcy, okay?
About a minute
I had to
later,
make sure your thing
the
wasn't
channel owners
hacked.
are walking around trying to
I'll
see
do
if
it
they can
tonight.
find anything worthwhile, not knowing that they already took a picture of something chilling, when sure enough, they spot something that certainly made their heart skip a few beats. Take a look.
I can't tell.
There.
Excuse me, what?
After encountering the strange entity near the graveyard, the channel owners rushed to their vehicle, abandoning the search completely, which was probably for the best. The uploaders make it out of the area completely unharmed.
I don't know what
but as
that
they
was.
weren't so
What was
quick
that?
on their feet, it's truly anybody's guess what could have possibly happened to them.
Damn. This is why you don't go to cemeteries. We had we had something that happened to us like that. This is why I say I'll never play Randonautica again. I downloaded it thinking it was gonna be one of those things that was like very soon left in the bushes, obviously. What the fuck? We thought it was something fake and whatnot, and the way it goes is that you start off putting a word or something that's emotional, right? A word like put what you're feeling, and then it tells you put what you're looking for, and it gives you options like anxious, shocked, stuff like that, and then afterwards what you're looking for, you put scary or whatever, or lucky happiness or whatever, something like that. And I put scary, right? And then it took me to the coordinates that were like 2.5 blocks away from near my apartment. Have you tried World Zero? I don't know what that is. And it goes down to Riverside, and Riverside is pretty much a whole bunch of trees, and then you have the river on the backside. But between that and the river, you have a big train tracks and whatnot. That's the Amtrak. So you're walking through the forest, and basically, it took us to this other little park that's desolated in this area, right? It's hidden, like at the bottom. There's like maybe, I would say maybe 40, 50 feet from where the little park is all the way up, but you have these hills that bring you down to it. So it took us down to this place, and there was like a whole bunch of big bars and like little domes that were closed. Yeah, I was with a cousin of mine that came to visit, and two friends of mine, and we all went down there, and we were all just laughing, joking around, and we was like, I don't know where this is taking us. We didn't decide to record it because I wanted to say, what if it's just nothing and we're just wasting battery and recording? So then we see the two little domes at nighttime. Yep. And the two little domes were like pretty much blocked out because they had like bars in between. So imagine like a jail cell, but something like that. And then we hear somebody grunt, and they're like, "Argh," and we thought it was like homeless people come through here all the time. They always try to find places to sleep in the park and whatnot. And the train behind us passes by like, and then you're just like hearing the train going, just passing by. And the lights from inside the train reflect a little bit inside the dome. So we're not thinking much of it, but I started getting a little bit spooked out because there's somebody inside, right? And there's domes that are closed, but there's no doorways behind the dome. There's nowhere. It's just arched and modified that way, so that way they can build a bridge on top of it. But there's no exit in the back. It's just one entrance inside, but it was covered in bars. So the lights start reflecting, and all you see is like something with like a lot of hair. It didn't even look like an afro; it just looked like a whole bunch of hair on somebody's head. And they were wearing raggedy clothes, like baggy, raggedy clothes. You can't really see what it was. And he just starts going like this, like an old man saying like, "Oh, stop making noise, leave me alone." Like that's the way I understood it. But he was like, "Arr!" And we all was like, "What the hell was that?" So then my friend decides to take the camera with the light, and he lights it inside of the dome. And once he lights it inside, he sees a cart that's there, right? A cart like the shopping carts. And there's nothing inside the shopping carts other than one measly glass bottle. And he starts moving the camera around and up and all over the place, and we see that there's no exit, there's no doors, and there was nobody there. And my cousin, myself, and one of his friends was like, "But we just saw somebody in there, and they made a noise." So we all looked at each other in confusion, like, what the hell is going on? And then I started looking around, and I noticed both domes are pretty much, they have bars all over the place. There's not even one gate that opens up that lets you inside the dome. So then I told everybody, I'm like, we all saw somebody in there, right? And they was like, yeah, but how did he get in there? There's no doors to get in. And then another train passes by and we got scared. We booked it out of there. I started running. I was the first one to run out of there. I don't care. Call me pussy, whatever you want. I was like, yo, I started running. I was like, I'm out of here. We ran to Broadway. We found like a little, what was it, like Kennedy Fried Chicken. It's like a bootleg version of Kentucky Fried Chicken. We go in there, we sat down. I was like, yo, let me get a 3-piece with French fries. And we sat down. We were just eating from out of nervousness. We were just eating. We was like, yo, yeah, I saw that. Never again. Never again. We deleted the app. Never again. Young Coco was adventurous, I see. You should do that again with your friends and make a video unless you feel uncomfortable. Nah, I'm not doing it again. Nah, that was reckless back then. I deleted the app.
Paranormal group
I deleted the app.
publishes videos sent in by subscribers of various different paranormal and otherworldly findings to share with their viewers to see if anybody can explain.
Well, turn into Hamilton while going to KFC.
One video was sent in by an anonymous viewer and was filmed on October 22nd, 2016. The story goes that the young man who sent the video arrived home late one night after having a few drinks at the local bar.
Lord.
He says that usually when he comes home for the day, he is greeted by the loud sounds of his pet birds, hoping to be fed. However, on the night that the man came home from the bar in October, the typically loud birds were surprisingly completely silent. This struck him as incredibly weird, as it was the first time that his pet birds were silent after being so hungry. So he decided to go outside with his camera.
This is why I can't trust forests no more.
Such as an
There's something always out there now.
But as you're about to see, he definitely did not record an opossum.
What's the matter with you?
A mysterious lanky creature with glowing white eyes can be seen peeking at the video camera before eventually moving out of view, quickly scurrying out of the man's yard. The creature was seemingly trying to eat the man's birds, but gratefully,
you think
it
it's a
seems
rake,
as though
maybe?
it was caught in time before it was able to do so. Because of the figure's distinct appearance and demeanor, many have believed this to be the Boswell bushcrawler, a mysterious folkloric creature similar to...
I would have dipped. I feel like forests can be scary, but the stereotypes are BS. No, I could tell you. Did I tell you guys the story of when I went on a date with a girl into the forest and I saw something? I thought it was a rake. Let me know if I think I told you guys that story.
To that of the rake. What do you think? Was this actual footage of the Boswell bushcrawler caught on camera? Was it some other type of creature? Or was this entire video just a fake? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
A rake, yeah. It's like a creature that's it's hairless. They're supposed to be fallen
A TikTok
angels.
creator known as
A rake.
TSCTV
A rake.
frequently records live
R-A-K-E.
streams for his
Rake.
viewers to watch that typically document him exploring abandoned buildings to see if he can find anything exciting or creepy inside. In this particular video, the uploader is seen exploring some sort of strange abandoned building out in the middle of nowhere, which certainly adds to the unsettling atmosphere of the footage. At first, TSC is lucky and doesn't seem to find anything truly terrifying, but that all changes in just
No! Rake. A rake. No, rake.
Allahumma sholli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah, mang astagfirullahaladzim. Allahumma sholli ala Sayyidina.
Looks identical to a rake. Yes, I agree. No, it wasn't the other word, man. I would never say that, man. I would never make fun of anything like that, of abuse or anything like that. So
What the fuck?
play the video, please.
Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma sholli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Ya Allah, ya Rabbi, Iron Man, aing masa harus nangis cuy. Ya Allah, macem, astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Aduh.
Absolutely frozen in shock, TSC stands still and doesn't have any idea what to do, while he looks at the strange figure standing not too far away in front of him. A few minutes later, TSC makes his way around the building slowly, but he doesn't get far before he
Jackson
sees the same
Sanitarium is a
exact
good
figure
walkthrough
looming in
if you
front
can
of
get
him once
past
more.
security and door with packages. And from that time, it was featured in the travel history channel Sanitarium. Why do I never see people getting ghost hunting on TikTok? I get some stuff like that from time to time.
Itu masih ada lagi cu. Astagfirullahaladzim. Umi. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Allahu Akbar. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Regardless whether this thing is fake or not, I wouldn't go to a place by myself. Live stream it.
To get away from the figure, even though it doesn't show any signs of being deadly. He wisely makes the choice to exit the building.
I just can't do it. I can't go to a place that's abandoned.
Safe as this happens.
Allahu Akbar. Astagfirullahaladzim.
I have a theory. What's the theory?
Ya Allah, ya Rabbi.
I don't like sanitariums, King Jokolok. I think they're the creepiest thing for me to explore, to see. The reason why I think I hate sanitariums the most is because I saw a movie when I was little called House on Silent Hill, and that movie was about a place where there were people who had mental problems, and it was a sanitarium, right? And it was one of those movies that traumatized me as a kid watching House on Haunted Hill. It's staged and there's a mob. It looks fake, but the fact that it's just creepy and the fact that this guy's in a place like that, I'm looking at it from a creepy factor, but you can tell it's fake.
Seen in quite a while. Where exactly is this building and what was its original purpose? And of course, the question on everybody's mind, what was that figure and what were its intentions? Thankfully, TSC managed to escape the area before he could find out the answer.
House on Silent Hill? Not Silent... Remember, it's not Silent Hill. House on Silent... Is it House on Silent Hill? But it's not the Silent Hill about the video game. This is a different thing. Also, granola, as we know, was created there. And the first ever Clara Barton was here too. This town is creepy if you deep dive into it. I think... Yeah. I agree. A lot of places, granola is good. I'm not gonna lie, granola is good. Put a little bit of yogurt, throw a couple of berries up in that bitch. But when did you watch it? House on Haunted Hill. I saw it back in 2005, I think it was. No, 2000 I think. 2002, around that area, early 2000s. So I was young back then. Just in case, I'm old as hell, in case you guys don't know. But back then I was like probably like 11. You know, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Anyways, they all on me.
ILM Bano Paranormal is a YouTuber that frequently uploads videos of himself
Yeah, it was back in the
abandoned
day, and
buildings,
so
documents
back in the day they used to have this thing called pay-per-view, I think it was called, and you would watch it on your cable, right? And pretty much it would have this one fixed channel before, like, you know, Tebow and all this other stuff. And I might watch it and then go to sleep in a dark room right after. No, House on Haunted Hill is House on Haunted Hill, not Silent Hill. House on Haunted Hill is the name of the movie. Creepy movie, but it's not the black and white movie, but the one in the 2000s. And it's a really creepy movie. Clara Barton is Red Cross, my bad. Who's Clara Barton again? She's the founder of the Red Cross?
his findings for subscribers to watch. In
It's
one
House on
video,
Haunted Hill.
ILM
House on Haunted
uploaded
Hill.
footage of himself exploring an allegedly haunted abandoned factory, but the exact location and name
Jordan,
of the
what up,
factory
Jordan?
has
How you
not
doing,
been
my boy?
disclosed.
Welcome to the stream.
The video definitely isn't shot on
Thank you so
scares,
much.
as
This is
these
one of my favorite
terrifying things
hats.
happen in the first 2
It's
minutes
Cappy.
of the footage alone.
It's
Take
Cappy.
a
His name's
look.
Cappy.
Was active.
How you doing, Jordan? Jordan?
Put it right here.
Roby,
I think
Roby.
that it's the best. Okay. No way. Hello?
Just a few minutes later, ILM is exploring another room
Just
in the
relaxing.
factory
That's good to
when he
hear.
hears
That's good to
something
hear.
that startles him not too far in the distance.
Okay.
What are your plans for the rest of the week
That was
besides
the
school?
scariest thing. Or it maybe wasn't. No way. Hello?
However, in one of the nearby rooms, if you look carefully, you can make out something incredibly creepy in the exact same room that ILM is
11
exploring,
set to pie.
unbeknownst
Nice
to him
hat.
at the time.
Wait, what? King Joko logo?
Look closely.
I didn't upload
It's
for
the hat
like
from the 3D world.
5-6 months.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is. It's when he gets the. It's when my homie gets the leaf. So I went to the park. So I don't know if you guys know I love the parks and whatnot. And I usually go down there with my dogs or I go bike riding. I always have this joke where I pick up a leaf. I'm like, yo, I'm about to grow some ears up in this bitch. And
like,
that's where the hat
we
comes from.
Get
So
that video to 1K.
it's from Mario 3.
Probably because
Look at the
I
park
communicate
ranger?
with them, and I
No,
think
no, no.
that room is good for communication. Plus, I have my
They have a parks and recreation thing in our community, and my mom likes to help out with that. So from time to time, if I'm not bike riding or going out with the dogs, I go see her, and it's on her spare time on the weekends, and it's nice. Sometimes they do like really nice things for the park, but you imagine if we can actually pick up leaves and like get power ups from leaves. That'd be nuts.
camera on that. Hello?
Thoughts on the Rock's
At the
burst?
9-minute mark, the uploader sets his camera down in order to see if he can capture any sort of strange activity without walking around.
The Rock's
and
burst.
sure enough, two incredibly mysterious things happen.
No. No.
What song? What song was that?
This thing. I don't know if you can see it.
After this, he
The
walks
Rock's
around the
burst.
staircase area where he begins to hear some strange sounds.
Doesn't
coming
matter.
from
And Dwayne
above.
Johnson had a rap
But
person?
before he
Really?
can even start investigating the source
What did
of
he
them,
say in the rap verse?
something else happens that startles him even more.
11 set to pie. What the hell's 11 set to
Oh.
pie, King Joko Loco?
I heard sounds from here. I swear. Hello? No! I'm not doing this.
In a second part, ILM walks around near a door frame and proceeds to ask if any sort of spirit is present. And although no spirit
What did 0 say to 8? Nice. It's basically a zero. That's a chubby zero, right? And when I put the belt, it squeezes him, so it looks like an 8. You get it? It's a circle. It's a zero, but if it wears a belt, it squeezes its waist and it becomes an 8. Thanks so much for the $5 donation, my boy. I appreciate it.
It makes it clear audibly, it does confirm its existence physically. Look closely at the door frame.
Thanks so much for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that one if you don't mind. I'm gonna use it.
Meanwhile, in another room inside the factory, where a stationary camera is set up, some truly bizarre and unexplainable activity is captured, followed by an incredibly chilling incident with an EVP. Watch this.
I was scared for a little bit, but then I had to look at the joke, and it was good. It was a good one. It was a good one. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you so much. This is the lyrics in his verse. It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work. Put in the hours and take what's ours. Black and Samoan in my veins. My culture banging. What's strange? I changed the game. So what's my motherfucking name? Cocorito.
Right towards the end of the video though, it seems as though the spirit in the factory is tired of ILM being in the building and exploring, and the entity in question wants to make it clear. When ILM is walking around a room at the end of the footage, this happens.
Pozor, mimo provoz. No!
It's hard to say for certain if this is real or just a hoax. Everything does seem quite authentic, plus ILM's reactions to everything that occurred in the factory while exploring sounds genuine, but you can never know for sure. So what do you think?
He probably threw the dustpan because, you know, there was like, yo, you're gonna be dragging your dirty ass feet up in this place.
5 scary videos that
Might as well get some dust in up in
I
this.
hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did,
Grab that
then
bitch.
subscribe for more scary content. My name is Sir Spooks, and I'll see you all in the next video.
That's how ghosts are sometimes. They'll be like, yo, you coming in here like that? You better clean up. Better clean up nicely too. Ghost was like, I'm finna turn your ass into ashes. Alright, we haven't seen my boy Callan in a hot minute, so I think it's a good time to go to Slapped Ham. I don't want to go to Chills because Chills lately, he's been lacking with his content. He's been putting out some lukewarm content, and nothing against my boy Chills, you know. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. I was gonna say, where's the Porky Boy at? Yeah, that's my homie right there, Slapped Ham. And remember, kids, don't slap your ham. That's literally what the thing is called, Slapped Ham. Don't cancel me now. Don't cancel me now. It literally said Slapped Ham. Don't slap your ham. These scary clips are too spicy for you. Oh, my man's got a Raid Shadow Legends commercial in there. We're gonna have to skip that.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking.
Chad just said right now to explain the whole slap ham thing. Okay, so story time real quick, like 10 seconds. When I was a little kid, my mom used to buy these blocks of ham, and when they would bring it to the house, she will cut it out open and leave it out like that so that she can make it into smaller pieces and put it in this Tupperware thing so we can grab from there and fry it or whatever. So what I would do was I'll come back from the park and she'll get so tight and upset because she'll have to wash the pork afterwards. Because I'll pass by and my scooter, and I'll pass by and I'll just take my hand and I'll slap the ham. I'll be like, ah, pa! Like, to a point where I will break the ham in half because she will still have to cut it. And, I got the chancla, which is pretty much the sandal, and I'll get hit in the back, like, fall out my scooter, and that was my punishment. So, there's only one thing I slap. Hey, yo, hold up a sec. Hey, nah. Yeah, I took it to a whole nother level.
As always, hit that subscribe button and get
I
ready
got my
for
ass
more
whooped.
creepy
I got my
content.
ass whooped for doing it to the ham. I used to get ass whoopings for it.
For many, locker rooms are associated with haunting memories of middle school gym class. But for YouTuber Daniel DeHalitis, a locker room was scary not because of class bullies or puberty, but for a potential ghostly presence. The YouTuber shared what they witnessed for other viewers to take in.
Speaking of ass whooping, you know what I be slapping?
As you can see, the lock on
I
the
don't want to know.
left-hand side of frame seems
I
to
don't
be
want to know.
shaking all on its
We're gonna have
own.
to cancel you, young Darcy. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to let you go. Hashtag cancel young Darcy. Hashtag cancel
The camera
young
person
Darcy.
moves
That's
the
it.
camera around to show that
You're
all
being
the other
canceled.
lockers
That's it.
seem to be
You're
perfectly
being let go.
normal.
It was nice to have you here, but you're being let go. Hashtag cancel young Darcy.
Eventually, the camera holder reaches a hand out to touch
Oh,
the
no, my
lock,
social
which then
status.
stops the shaking. The go-to explanation in the comments section was that there could have been an air vent directly above the locker blowing some wind in. But if this was the case, why don't the other locks shake as well? Some viewers suggested it could be the spirit of a former student haunting the locker room, perhaps trying to convey a message. Of course, without further information, this strange piece of footage will have to remain a mystery. Let us know your theories as to what's going on in the comments section down below.
Hey peeps, just a quick interlude to let you know today's episode
No, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, we gotta skip. We gotta skip that part. Give me 2 seconds. I knew it was coming up. That's why I was smiling. That's why I had that Riri like smile on my face. I was going like this because I already knew it was coming up. I'm trying to unlock Coco's door. Chill, nah. We had a moment in my cousin's house when he used to live in Long Island. Where it was just him, myself, and my other male cousin. We were all pretty much staying over, and that was Kaylin when he slapped him. He's like, I see you. Oh, my bad, ham. Ham. No, we this is what I always tell people. Listen, if somebody knocks on your door, don't ever open doors. Don't ever open the doors. We went to 10-second story. We stayed alone in my cousin's house, and we were just hanging out in his room one night. We had turned off all the lights. The dogs were asleep, and then we hear the dogs barking. Somebody pretty much was knocking on the door, but not even ringing the doorbell. They were just like knocking on it. That's bad advice. You need to sign the package if the mailman comes going ham. No, hell no. That's the thing. This is why we had a window upstairs. We had a window upstairs that was right above the door, because my cousin's room was right above the door, so you can pop your head out and see if there was somebody there. So going ham with the raid, yeah, basically. The creepy part is they were knocking on the door, and there was nobody. So we were all in the house. We're just hanging out, and they knock on the door, and we all pop out our heads out the window, and we look down, and there's nobody there. And my cousin goes down the stairs, and then he's calling us on the phone, and he's like, "Are they still knocking on the door?" And you hear the tung 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 tung, and there's nobody there, bro. My cousin came back up. We locked the doors. Yo, we took dogs inside. I was like, "Yo, we're not going out there." We locked the door, and that's it. That's it.
If you hear strange banging in your home, should you go and
Coco's gonna
investigate
look out
it?
and see someone
Horror
staring
movies
at.
have taught us
No.
that this isn't always a good idea, but many are too curious to let it go. TikToker Dino Nuggets
Nah, they kept
741
knocking when
shared
he
a
went
clip of an
downstairs, my cousin, and
investigation
there was
into a
nobody there.
banging sound that turned into something downright terrifying. In the clip, we see footage of a man walking in his home at night with a flashlight. There's a strange, loud banging sound in the background.
We were just talking about this. That's creepy.
The man opens the door to his basement. He peers in
Was
for
the
a
return
moment
of the
before
Axis?
deciding
Nah.
to go downstairs, see if he can spot anything creepy.
Here's how people die. What happened to us? What happened to us? We went back upstairs. I didn't go back down. I went back upstairs. I didn't want to believe that my dad was stealing from his job as a traffic guard.
Follow behind
But
the man.
then I got home. All the signs were there.
A few moments later, we can hear the man yell and run back upstairs. The banging then continues all over again, signifying that the figure is still lurking. Many TikTokers claim that they also heard what sounded like voices whispering to the man.
A big black
perhaps
shadow goes
saying
in.
hi or hello in the basement.
That's scary. A big black shadow. Imagine seeing this on your camera and you see a big black shadow going behind you like that. That was a good joke, Jogo Loco.
The homeowner never gave an answer as to what he saw in the basement, so you may have to draw your
That
own
was a good one.
conclusions about that mysterious dark figure.
Go ahead. Drop your joke, even Darcy. That figure looked creepy though. I couldn't explain that, and the fact that the man started screaming. Go ahead. I'll check them out.
We've all seen videos of supposed UFOs flying across the
Oh, I
night
like
sky,
UFO videos.
But what about a UFO showing up in the middle of a thunderstorm? Instagram user UFO Lovers may have shared just that. The brief clip shows us the perspective of a car driving down a road as a thunderstorm roars ahead. Watch what happens. As the lightning strikes, an unknown black object seems to be hovering among the clouds.
Oh, wow.
Some comments cheekily suggested that it was Raiden from Mortal Kombat, or even the Thunder God himself, Thor. Others thought it was an alien craft.
What happens
of
if
some
you squash a
kind, perhaps
grape?
drawing
It
power
winds.
from the lightning itself.
The hell?
Quite a few comments thought the lighting looked a little off, suggesting that the whole thing is just some CGI trickery. So you might have to give the video another
That if
look
you squash a
and
grape,
judge for
it
yourself.
raisins.
TikToker Ali Dupin1
Thor,
stumbled
they
across
thought it was
something on
Thor.
the beach that's been sending shivers down many people's spines. Whether the TikToker has discovered a new species of sea creature or come across some type of prank.
Hey, yo! Yeah, that second
In
joke
the
was
TikTok
sussy as
clip, we
hell.
can immediately see
The
the
second joke
object
was
in
sussy as
question
hell. I
on
can't
the
even say that
sand.
joke. We'll do the Rubik's Cube and a phallic object have in common. The more you play with them, the harder they get.
We can see what looks to be a skeleton with an open gaping mouth, its head resembling that of a monkey's.
That's something I would use, like if I was to meet like my future wife's dad and my dad-in-law. But hi, how are you, sir? What's your name, Mike? Oh, my name is Coco. How are you? Pleasure to meet you. So let's open up conversation. What do a Rubik's Cube and a PP have in common? The more you play with them, the harder they get. you know what I mean, Mike? You know what I mean? The dad's gonna look at me and gonna be like, "The fuck out of here! You're not marrying my daughter. You're not gonna marry my daughter."
The camera pans down to show the rest of the narrow skeletal figure.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Coco Sim boys?
Other TikTokers had theories that this skeleton was actually either a doll or some sort of dead sea creature, and not anything more than that. At the same time, the skeletal figure doesn't resemble any known animal, and it certainly wouldn't be considered a cute collector's doll. So is there more to the story here? Some viewers did go a little deeper, claiming that scientists
Plot
are
twist, the daughter
experimenting
name
with
is
nature and animals,
Candace.
and that this may be proof of it. If so, this may be just an experiment gone wrong.
The daughter's name is Candace? Oh, come on. Hey, yo, what that... Got that Guac Guac 2000.
Light anomalies caught on camera definitely make for interesting paranormal discussions. These discussions become even livelier when a baby's involved. Reddit user Lewis Halkett has uploaded a clip to our subreddit that sparked an unsettling debate. The video shows us the baby monitor in question. We can see black and white footage of a baby's room with a crib in the middle. On the right side of frame,
Chill,
the light
nah,
anomaly
don't
appears.
do that, don't do that. Nah.
It looks like a bright ball of light seeming to make its way to the crib slowly. It hovers above the crib as if examining what's inside.
Chill. Nah, don't do it.
It does this for a little while longer before slowly disappearing back to where it came from.
Nah, dog. Nah.
Most viewers were completely freaked out by this clip, especially the fact that the ball of light seemed to hover over the crib as if inspecting it.
And this be just chatting
So
and
was
not
this
talking
actually a
shows and
spirit who was
podcasts.
watching over the baby?
This is chatting.
So, why?
It's chatting.
Some people
it's
believe that
reviewing.
the spirits of our ancestors visit our babies when they
podcast,
sleep to protect them.
It's a talk show.
Perhaps it's best to go with this thought over
It's a
anything
variety
more
show.
sinister.
It's a Cocorito show. It's a beluga show.
User Electronic Dreaming has uploaded a mysterious piece of CCTV footage to our Slaptam subreddit. In the clip, we see two forklifts sitting in a large warehouse. Watch what happens.
Oh look, it's
As
a
you can
baby
see, a white anomaly appears to
it's
form on the
motherfucking.
ground.
It's a baby 4K and
Whatever
a
it
motherfucker.
is, it seems to move forward past the forklifts. Interestingly, the poster noted that a worker had been killed by a forklift in this very warehouse 10 years prior. So could it be the worker's spirit here making a visit to his death site on the 10th anniversary? Some viewers believe that this figure was actually just a bit of dust, such as a dust devil being whipped up by a gust of wind. However, given the sad history of this warehouse, many viewers can't help but wonder if there's something more to this strange piece of footage.
It could be something else, but it could be wind and dust at the same time, so it happens.
Before we take a look at something chilling floating in the skies above Colorado Springs, remember to caress that
Again,
subscribe
it goes
button,
back to the
then tickle
whole,
that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications.
Hopefully it's one more UFO video.
That way you'll be in the loop every
There's
time
more
we
and more
drop our
videos of
scary
UFOs
and
out there,
mysterious
more than ever.
videos.
Why did the banana go to prison? Because they denied his
TikTok
appeal.
user Twixy Time has shared a clip that shows something very
These reminds me of the
floating in the
jokes
sky in
on
Colorado Springs in the
the
United
Laffy Taffy
States.
candy.
Take a look.
What are those things? That's in the sky right now, everybody.
I think those are
You can
kites.
see
I
two
think
bizarre dark objects floating
that
around
joke's
in
gonna
the
win.
sky.
Those gotta be kites, right?
The are those?
The TikToker explains that he was just chilling in his car when he noticed the strange objects.
That's in the sky. Like I'm in my car, just chilling.
The TikToker then zooms out his camera to show that he's on a relatively empty street, before zooming in again on the strange objects.
What the are those? Explain.
A bunch of comments said that they were Dementors straight out of the Harry Potter movies. Interestingly, another commentator stated that she's also in the area and explained that there's a man living there who flies kites exactly like these. As such, it could just be that this local man was having some fun with his strange kites on that cloudy day. Though why he would want kites as creepy as this is a mystery in itself.
What the are those? Explain.
I would have been freaked out too if I was to see something like that flying.
Now, if you want to see
I
some
started
more
selling
super scary
boats
clips,
from my
then check
attic.
out that link
Sales
on
were
the top
through
there.
the roof.
Otherwise, we have curated paranormal playlists right there that you can binge on. Now, if you have your own scary content you want to submit,
What the fuck,
press
really?
Slapcam subreddit.
I can't.
In the description box below. And that's
That was
it
good.
for
That
me.
was
I'll
good.
see you all next time.
Oh my god, that was good. That was good. I think Bizarre Bub could be the next one.
Here's a video to start off.
Let me see. We haven't seen Bizarre Bub in a hot second, so we're gonna see Bizarre Bub. I think to end the night, we're gonna see his video, and probably some 1C Entertainment, and then we're gonna call it a night. So this is Bizarre Bub Scary Compilations version 41. Let's get it.
The Halloween season just right. A couple of kids are by themselves inside a house when they captured this terrifying footage. Inés de la Cruz, who suggested the video, writes, "A couple of siblings were alone inside their grandparents' house when something extremely creepy was caught on camera by one of them. This is what they caught."
Estamos aquí en la casa de mi bisabuela. Se fue la... ¿Qué es eso? Se fue la luz.
Wait, we saw
esa es
this
la
one,
casa.
didn't we?
Porque y mi mamá. Espérense. Y mi mamá y mi abuela se fueron al Oxxo a comprar velas por eso, por lo que pasó de que se fue la luz. Y pues estamos aquí. Esas son las. Mi abuelito. Espérense, no sean chillones. No va a pasar nada. Y esas son las cenizas de mi bisabuelo, porque pues desgraciadamente él ya falleció. Y el baño está allá. El baño, mi hermano quiere hacer pipí, pero el baño está allá. Y mi abuela nos dijo que cuidáramos. Mi abuelo nos dijo que cuidáramos aquí su casa en lo que ellas iban. Pero espérense. Pero pues el problema es que aquí no sabemos. Y pues no tengan miedo. No pasa nada. Abuelito, ¿estás aquí? Preséntate. Si estás aquí, preséntate ante nosotros.
Somos tus
nietos.
Someone or something is hiding in what appears to be a shed, when suddenly, the thing inside comes flying out and scares the living daylights out of the children. Talk about traumatic childhood experiences. This is definitely one of them. Now, based on this last scene, it could be that the shadowy apparition is in fact some sort of animal that was taking shelter inside the shed. What appears to be an apparition may actually be a bird or a bat, as it seems to come flying out of the shed. However,
That's a huge
this
ass
doesn't
bat.
explain the shadowy figure
It's a
that was
huge
seen
ass
early in
bat.
the video. Whatever this is, it doesn't seem to be any kind of bat or bird, let alone an animal. Most viewers think that this may have been a malevolent entity seeking to do harm.
That's a huge ass bat.
As with all videos, I leave this one open to interpretation. Was a ghost caught on camera? Or was something else entirely different caught instead? The following video shows footage of a barbershop during business hours when suddenly all the barbers inside the shop encounter something beyond belief. Barber T had obtained this recording from the security camera inside the shop after experiencing this creepy encounter. Here's the footage that was posted by him, along with the text-to-speech voice explaining the video's events. Be sure to look closely for this one, as something else happens that a lot of viewers missed the first time. Take a look.
So we just realized the barbershop is haunted. I didn't notice the door moved at first. Pay attention to the door.
Paranormal edition, yeah.
It was all jokes and giggles until... My boy John was super spooked, and so was I. The shop is for sale now if someone is interested.
A woman once said, "You watch the hub."
A door all of a sudden opens on its own and then promptly closes itself seconds later. It continues to do this until stopping about a minute later.
What?
The barbers were left spooked, as seen on camera. Now something else happens in this video that you might have missed. At the start of the video, we see the door opening for the first time.
What?
It is around this time though that a transparent figure passes by the TV. Whatever this is, viewers believe that it may be responsible for the strange activity. But things were only getting started because what happens next is just downright creepy. An hour later, one of the barbers approaches the door when the following happens.
What you're about to see is some aggressive paranormal activity. I really didn't want to touch the door handle. Look at everyone's reaction. I pulled up the camera angle from the back room, and everything was thrown everywhere.
Like most viewers, Barber T doesn't know what to make of this. Now, it could be that a draft was responsible for the door's movement, but if that were the case, then the door would follow a somewhat consistent pattern of opening and closing. This isn't the case here, as it opens and closes as though someone or something is doing this. But, like always, it's up to you to decide as to what this might be. Ghost or not? Feel free to let me know what you think.
Damn.
This next video was suggested by Luna Moon, who had found a video that's been keeping her up at night. Luna writes, a father takes out his phone and begins to record a playhouse tent that he bought for his daughter. All appears to be normal until the father sees something inside the tent, causing him to flee out of the room and end the recording immediately. This is what he caught.
Le compré un castillo a mi hija y ya no sale de aquí para nada, weón. Es re lindo, tiene ventanita y todo, pille.
As the father walks over to the side of the tent, he sees what appears to be someone hiding inside. But as soon as he pans back to the tent's entrance, the figure is no longer there. Naturally, the father ran out of the room and ended the recording. Now this one's hard to explain. Nothing appears to have caused the blanket to rise on its own and appear as though someone were hiding underneath it. The father believes that the playhouse belonged to a child who is now deceased and whose spirit continues to play inside. Although Luna is a skeptic, she too believes in this notion. But if it weren't for the photo the father had taken the next day, she would not have believed him. In this photo, something really creepy is captured. The father had taken a picture of the playhouse to show his wife, when out of nowhere, he captures what appears to be a child peering through the room's window. Mind you though, that the father lives on the 15th floor of an apartment complex with no balcony outside of this room. Now that's creepy. As always, what are your thoughts on this? Feel free to share.
Would you stay in that tent?
If
I
you
wouldn't
caught
stay in that
something
apartment.
creepy
I would have
on
gotten.
camera, or if there's
I would
any
have gotten
ghost
rid
videos
of
you'd
that
like me to
tent.
check out
I would have
and
gotten
include
rid
in
of
the
that
next
tent.
compilation, you can
I mean, think about it. You have a family, have a little girl, and your little daughter doesn't want to leave that tent, or she wants to play with this toy, and you're wondering why she's so obsessed with it. And then you end up seeing a little girl show up in a picture, and then you see something inside of the tent that looks like it's hiding under the covers. I mean, at that point, you just gotta try to get rid of that tent and get her a new one, possibly. But then again, you don't know if that thing is in the house or attached to the tent.
Send them over to scaryvideos444@gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video. YouTuber Yamaku uploaded the following video after hearing strange noises from inside his home. It goes without saying, but the following clip is pretty creepy. Yamaku has been capturing footage of poltergeist activity taking place inside his home. From an object being thrown to the ground, to a door closing on its own, viewers are certain that Yamaku has captured footage of something unexplainable. But the most chilling incident has to be one of his recent uploads in which Yamaku captures the following footage. This is what he caught.
Dead ass? Dead ass? I can't deal right now. I can't deal. The Japanese game that's gonna come out, Fatal Frame, on the 28th, that we're gonna play here on the channel. It's based off of Japanese, in a Japanese town.
Yamaku captures what sounds like someone tapping on the bathroom window.
You Hafner,
Stay, unfortunately. I'll be
Yamaku
sure to
thinks
catch the next stream. Good night.
Thank you so much, Hugh Hafner. Let me pull it up again so you guys can hear what he said. Hugh Hafner, thank you so much. Hugh Hafner tipped $10.02. Can't stay, unfortunately. I'll be sure to catch the next stream. Good night. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Can't stay, unfortunately.
Thank you so
I'll be
much, Hugh
sure to
Hafner, my
catch the
boy.
next stream. Good night.
Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it, man. Have a fantastic night. Thanks as always for the support. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
that the pipes inside his bathroom walls might have to do something with this. But then one night,
Boy, I don't know.
he
Yo, you guys be spoiling your homie too much, man. I don't know what to say. Thanks so much, man. Damn, like y'all be leaving me speechless with the donations. You know, it's nuts. Thanks so much.
captures something that seems to suggest
Sorry, no
otherwise.
text fumbled prior to a
Yamaku is recording
touchdown.
himself
What I was
lighting an
gonna say
incense
was,
candle when the
BBC
following
News
happens.
shows big brown chocolate. What do you think I was gonna say? And the donation caught Coco off guard so much he started coughing. Really caught COVID from a donation. I thought BBC News was gonna be about it was gonna be about blackberry cherries, you know. Nah, it means a lot. Doesn't matter how much the donation is. Like if it's a lot, obviously it's outrageous, it's crazy, and I'm still grateful for it. But it could be like even
Viewers
$1.
believe that he may be
It
dealing
means a
with
lot to me
something
because
supernatural.
you're working
Yamaku
hard.
has
Everybody
yet
works
to
hard for
upload
their
more
money, and the
videos
fact
on this
that they're
strange
able to
encounter. But for now,
give some of
it's
that,
up to you to
whatever
decide
much
if
they
this is
have,
genuine
to
footage
me,
of something paranormal
I'm
or
nothing
not.
but grateful and humbled for it.
Whether
You know,
ghost or not,
so
the video itself is pretty creepy.
I don't know what to say. It's just one of those things that leaves you, all fuzzy inside because you're
Deja
like,
J
damn.
submitted the following photo
So
and writes,
what I'm trying to say is,
in this picture, two
thank you.
children are leaning against a mirror.
Thanks,
The mother of the
thank you so
children
much.
saw this as a perfect opportunity to take a photo of them. But when she did, she was horrified by what she had caught in the photograph. She had never captured
Man, I both
anything
know
like this
you
before.
weren't thinking about big
This
blackberry
is the photo
cherries.
she
That's
took.
what you were really thinking. Nah, bro. BBC in my head means blackberry cherries because that's literally what I go. I go to the Chinese spot. I go downtown to get my fruits. I go to Chinatown. I'd be like, I'm like, Mr. Wong, let me get some BBCs. Be like, yeah, I got you, my friend. We got some big black ones here today. Because the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So it's big black cherries. And he just gives me a whole like 2 pounds and I bring that back uptown and yeah. You lucky, man, you lucky. Stop the cab. What you talk? Man.
It's not clear if the mother and her 2 children were the only ones present in the room at which the photo was taken. But even if she stated that she had someone over during this time, it would be hard to believe, as that someone doesn't appear to be a person. Whatever this is, it's definitely creepy. And even without sufficient context, the photo is still nonetheless pretty disturbing. Talk about nightmare fuel. This is the stuff of nightmares.
Anyways, would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus
A family
Christ?
is celebrating a birthday.
Have you seen that video of if anime was a religion when the guy comes? He's like, Animashita, would you like to meet our Lord and Savior, Luffy, whatever his name is? And he's like, yes, we've been trying to follow the prophet Vegeta and the teachings of Naruto Uzumaki. And I'm like, it's a cringy video, but at the same time, it's hilarious. If you have not seen it, I recommend you guys go look up the if anime was a religion on YouTube. It's a good video.
When something disturbing is caught on camera, King Gritch submitted the following video and writes, in 2013, the Paris family was celebrating a birthday at their home. It was just the 5 of them, as evident in the video. But after looking back at the video, it appears that someone else had been there. Here's the footage that was taken at the party. The silhouette of a child passes by in the background. The Paris family was sure that no one else was there except the 5 of them, or so they thought. It appears that someone else had made it to the party. Now what's even more strange about the supposed child is the way it passes by. It moves quickly and appears to be floating above ground as it does so. The way it passes seems very unnatural. The Paris family can't seem to explain this, but maybe you can. Like with most videos, this one remains a mystery.
Creepy Shiza.
Thanks for watching, and I hope
Alright, go check out Bizarre Bub on YouTube. If you guys are interested in any of them, the links are below in the description. Last video of the night, we're gonna go to 1C Entertainment. You already know we give 1C hella love. So let's see, it's called She Didn't Get an Ice Cream Cake. No, but that's the thing. I think that's the creepiest thing, right? That you're recording family moments and you don't expect like a moment such as somebody's birthday. You expect nothing but happiness, nothing weird to happen in a video, and then I don't know, you capture something paranormal that's not supposed to be there, and you're wondering, is this something good? Is this something bad? Coco, when you think Premium will come out? Coco Sexy. Demona. What up, Demona? What? Coco Sexy? Wait, hold up a second. I don't know about Sexy. However, have you heard that new Future song? It's like, too sexy for my car. Too sexy for my lawn. It's literally a remix of the song I'm Too Sexy, but done in the trap version. There's some ghosts that you can see unless they're lit up by something behind them. That's my theory. I don't know, but that was just creepy. It looked like a little girl was passing by through the TV, and then it wasn't even walking. Because when you walk, remember you go through this motion of when you're walking. This thing looked like it was just floating and it went by. But a lot of people would say it's not really a female ghost or an actual kid's ghost. It could be a demon or it could be something worse. I think he meant to say, Coco, do you drink Pepsi? No. Premium will probably come out sometime this week. We have to be on our toes, Nani, tomorrow through the rest of the week because it's gonna come out at one point. So, all right. Let's watch the last couple of 2 videos. We'll watch from 1C Entertainment. They do animated creepy stories. I'd say we do 2 psychopath horror stories. My wife convinced me we live in a haunted home. And then we're gonna go 2 true disturbing horror stories animated. This is 9 minutes. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Dimona, for the compliment. I appreciate it. I was just, joking. Don't cancel me.
This
Dimona.
happened when I was only 5 years old. I remember that my family was coming back home from my grandparents' cottage that day. While on the way home, I started to have an extremely painful toothache. It was so strong that I was crying and screaming out in pain. So my mom searched the internet for the nearest hospital. Unfortunately, the only one around the area we were in was a mental hospital, which only had a dentist room for the patients of the hospital and for some emergency situations. As my mom was nervous about the patients, we immediately ran to the dentist's room. The dentist was in his early 40s, bald, and I remember that he had a really weird, kind of funny look about him.
I didn't buy the new Demon Slayer game. I'm gonna wait on it. I'm already playing the Metroid game and a few other new games already.
Hey, kid, shut up. Real
Wanna
men
know what
don't
LGBT
cry,
really stands for?
he said.
Careful. What does it stand
I was
for?
just a 5-year-old boy. My dad got pissed off, but he controlled himself because we weren't able to find another doctor. Suddenly, the dentist became super sweet and told me to sit on the chair. While he was checking my mouth, he seemed kind of nervous, but he was also saying some jokes to my 7-year-old brother. My brother started laughing, and then what the dentist did almost made my heart drop. He screamed to my brother, "Stop laughing or I'll take your brother's teeth out, one by one." It was enough. He was a weirdo, and at that point, my dad was furious. He was about to beat up this madman, but thankfully my mom calmed him down. Of course, my brother got scared and started crying.
Luigi got the bigger tits.
So annoying that
What?
he couldn't do his work. So Dad got out with my brother and Mom stayed with me. Being paranoid, my mom didn't feel comfortable about leaving 5-year-old me behind with a weird stranger. I remember clearly that he looked at me in a very weird way that gave me the creeps. Just then, Mom asked him if she could use the toilet that was in the room. "Oh, sorry, ma'am. This isn't a restroom. It's a room we keep old stuff," he said, but we could clearly see the restroom sign on the door and even hear the noise of running water that the toilet made. From that moment until the end, the dentist seemed anxious. He was sweating and his hands were shaking. When he finished with my tooth, we immediately left and went home, and my mom called her sister to tell her everything about the incident. A week after, my aunt called my mom. "Did you see the news?" She told us that she saw a dentist who had killed a woman in her late 20s, and he was keeping her in his clinic's bathroom for almost a week. And the place was the same hospital where we had gone before. Shaking her hands, Mom turned on the TV. And there he was. It was the same man who had checked my tooth. That explained his weird behavior and why he didn't let my mom use the bathroom. A dead body was only a few meters away from me and my family. The dentist was diagnosed with schizophrenia and finally sentenced to death. I'm so glad that my mom didn't go to the bathroom anyway. And from my experience, I learned something that I want to share with you guys. If you ever notice that someone has a weird behavior that makes you feel uncomfortable, don't just stay there. Find an excuse and immediately
People
leave.
drawn just in. Nah, chill,
This might
dog.
save your life.
Don't do it, you see? Chill. True house sitting horror story
So this
animated.
happened last year when I was house sitting for my neighbor. He was in the hospital for a few days recovering from surgery, and I had been asked to stay in the house and keep an eye on his cats. The house was pretty small, but it was on a nice wide open property by the woods. And there was a tiny swinging cat flap on the kitchen door, where the cats could come and go as they pleased. The flap led into a screened-in back porch, and the house only had one bedroom, so I chose to sleep on the couch in the living room. After cleaning up, feeding the cats, and watching some TV, I shut off all the lights and laid back on the couch. I had my phone out and was casually scrolling through Facebook when I heard the flap swinging back and forth. From where I was in the living room, I couldn't see the door because the counter was in the way, but I glanced over to see one of the cats scamper over and leap up on my legs. I gave it a welcoming pat on the head and continued scrolling. After another minute, I heard the cat door make a noise again, a soft squeak. This time, I didn't even glance over, figuring it was the second cat following the first into the house. Another few moments passed. Then I heard the squeaking again, and then after another moment, it squeaked a third time. I looked up from my phone, wondering why the second cat was jumping in and out like that. I was wondering if I would have to scoop it up and put it in the bedroom. The door continued to squeak for another couple of minutes, as the second cat continued to jump in and out. I finally decided that I had enough. I put my phone down and sat up on the couch. I began to stretch. As I did, I happened to glance behind the couch, and my blood froze. The second cat was curled up in its bed in the corner, and the first cat was still nestled between my legs. My confusion turned to fear instantly. Was there another animal on the back porch? Another cat, maybe? I slowly stood up and carefully made my way over to the back door, tiptoeing across the carpet in my socks. The door made a squeaking noise again. I peered around the counter and felt the sensation of my heart leaping up into my throat. And at the same moment, my stomach dropped. By the faint rays of the nightlight in the hallway, I saw an arm reaching through the cat door, straining to get at the knob. The fingertips were brushing at the lock. For a few short seconds, all I could do was stare in terror, frozen by the surreal silent reality of what I was experiencing. It almost didn't feel real. The severity of the situation hit me, and I realized that if the intruder got in, I wasn't going to stand a chance. I grabbed a large two-pronged fork that was used for flipping steaks on a grill, and in one swift motion, I stabbed at the arm right below the wrist as hard as I could. There came a thunderous scream of pain from the other side of the door. And the arm was immediately retracted through the flap. But the fork had impaled the intruder, so it caught itself on the door. That produced a second loud scream, and the arm was wrenched violently outside. I heard the clatter of the fork on the ground, and then I heard footsteps sprint across the back porch and out the screen door. I immediately turned on the outside lights and caught the glimpse of a figure running towards the woods. Instead of calling the cops, I scooped up both cats, stuffed them into the same carrier, grabbed my phone, my shoes, and sprinted out to my car, which was thankfully parked inside the garage. I drove up the road a couple of miles to my place, and once I was safely inside, I called the cops. It took them half an hour to get to my place, and then another half hour of questioning before they continued down the road to check out my neighbor's house. They told me that there was no sign that the screen door had been broken into, and aside from the bloodstain, there was no sign of the intruder.
So it's lightly blue.
They put out an alert to local hospitals for a man with a stab wound on his right arm. The following morning, the police brought a dog out to follow the scent, but whoever the lucky bastard was, he was never caught. I kept the cats at my place until my neighbor was out of the hospital. It still shakes me to my soul, the idea that the stranger chose that house in the middle of nowhere, trying to get inside. And if I hadn't got off the couch when I did, this may have ended very differently.
Wow. What the hell is this? What up, Loyal Cam? We just finished actually the stream. We were watching scary videos, scary animated stories, creepy stuff, and just ghost videos and stuff of that nature. But anyways, we came to the end of the stream. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys who watch on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you guys are in tuned when I go live and whatnot. And if you're watching on Twitch, follow your boy. Thank you so much to Young Darcy for subscribing again to my channel. So Hugh Hefner as well. Shout out to Loyal Cam. Yeah, no, it's okay, Cam. I'll be back in a little bit for a game or something like that. Young Darcy, thanks for coming through. The guy in your mom's bed, aka Patrick. Hugh Hefner, who came through with the $10 and 2 cents donations. And I believe that was everybody on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. If I did miss somebody on Twitch, I apologize. On YouTube, shout out to Zerpi, Demona, thanks for coming through. Monopoly, my boy. King Joko Loco, thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you again for the support. And again, you guys don't have to, and it's never an obligation, but I am really grateful for you guys spending time here with me and for donating money as well. Shout out to Jordan Roby. Shout out to Toxic Vanguard. Thanks for coming through. I'll definitely see you on the next Animal Crossing. Sniper Monkey, thanks for coming through. And I believe I saw Cool Boy on there. If I missed anybody else, I apologize. Have an amazing night. Follow me on all my social media platforms right there. And join the Discord family in the link below or in the About Me section of my channel. I'll see you boys and girls on the next stream. This is Kakaroto, aka Coco, signing off. Till then, have a wonderful night. Peace! I won't forget to unban you, Young Darcy.